Hey, what's up? It's your Design Systems nerd, Mark Reynolds, and today we're going to do a quick jam on adoption. So, adoption is a big subject in the design system world. It could be really easy and effective to sort of design and build components. So, if you've got the design done and you've got some engineering, you're like, sweet, we've got this lovely sort of three or four like amazing components that we built. That's great, but you need to get the engagement, you need to get the adoption, and it needs to be sort of out there within the product squads. So the first thing we're going to start off with is like the simplest thing. So what's the best platform to build community? So I've worked with and in Slack and Teams and Discord for years. So the one thing that I can really say is that Slack just has the best ways, the best features, the best UI, and the best experience to develop a community. I've struggled a little bit with Teams, and Discord is fun, and it has other engaging kind of features, but Slack just seems to work really well, and it's usually where most people operate effectively as well, and it's where we operate as the design system community in sort of outside of our sort of normal organizations and our normal work, etc. So I'd say Slack is pretty much king or queen in this scenario. So the other thing is setting up bi-weekly show and tells. So imagine sending out like an email marketing campaign, an internal one, to the biggest email box you can get access to, and inviting them to come to a scheduled hour every 2 weeks where you talk about all the amazing work that's going on within the design system team, and maybe celebrating some of the great things that are happening with the design system outside of the team itself. So that might be some amazing components that have been built or some patterns that have been created, and the implementation of those within a product squad, celebrating that and giving that like a massive high five. The other things we've got are like office hours. So maybe you can set up, as well as the show and tell, a bi-weekly office hours. And that is a super Q&A session. So come in, spend an hour. You've got a few of the team members from the design system team. Maybe you've got an internal sort of evangelist of the design system. Maybe that's from product engineering, design. And they are there too to answer questions, maybe ask some poignant questions as well. And that's also a really good way to engage. The other thing is that you can integrate the actual roadmap. So you might be developing the roadmap on something like Product Board. It might actually be through Azure DevOps. It might actually be on Jira. But if you can integrate that into Slack, and actually have a way for them to click through and see the roadmap from the community itself, that really helps sort of get that connection, which is really good. The other thing is to celebrate and incentivize. So, for example, you want evangelists, within internal evangelists for the design system within your organization, right? So, what you can do is give them incentives. So, maybe it's some awesome swag. So maybe put together a sweet set of design system swag and say like, hey, if you like integrate these components, have a play with them and give us some feedback, then we'll get some swag out to the team and stuff and have some fun with it. That's really good. And the other one is lunch and learns. So you can actually run sort of monthly, maybe bi-weekly lunch and learns, where it's actually practical tips and ways of implementing what's been created from the design system, and how can you tell them, or how do you get them to see how to implement it, and just run through like a how-to, a tips type session. And that will get them to, oh, okay, cool. So it actually isn't going to be that much work to do. Or maybe it's like, oh, great, I know who to talk to. And it's very practical sort of coaching and mentoring in terms of like the session itself. So, yep, there's a few ideas there. That's my jam for today. So, design systems adoption, big subject, but hopefully there's a few things in there. And I will catch you next time.